Hey, all you beautiful people. You like the new video? It was pretty sick. What'd you think?
It was good.
Yeah, you like all the lamprey? I love the lamprey.
Yeah.
He has a thing for lamprey. Okay, so as you could tell by the new video and the new title, we've kind of changed things up a little bit, and now this will be creature features. So technically, this will be episode 1 of the new creature features. And as you can tell, we're at a super, super cool location. But before we get to that, what's that? Oh, okay. Before we get to that, let's go ahead and go over some time changes too. We're gonna switch creature features from coming on Sundays, and we're gonna do Fridays at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So that'll be 3 o'clock East Coast, or no, sorry, 3 hours ahead on the East Coast, or 3 hours ahead if you're like in Hawaii. But yeah, so that'll be cool. New time change and new day slot. So Fridays at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. But yeah, and then back to this new location, as you could tell, and by the title episode, Cobra. So there's freaking Cobra over there, Cobra over there. There's Cobra eggs up there. This little guy even has a little rattlesnake tail. Look at that. Okay, and let's bring out our guest too. Let's go ahead and roll his intro video, and we'll bring him out. Go. Wait, wrong one. Hold on. We're just doing all these cool videos. Let's see. Just getting the old ones out of the way.
It is not sitting back here, my friend. I apologize, fellas. Drop ball there. We did have some changes here last week, but the general will make sure everything is rolling and going the way that it's supposed to moving forward. Aaron, I apologize, and we're going to put something special together for you, and we'll get that drop later, my friend.
Oh, you're good, brother. You're good.
But yes. So I have Aaron here.
Hey guys, how's it going?
And he has been a reptile keeper for a very long time, especially of venomous reptiles, as you can tell everywhere.
Yeah, the venomous snakes in the venom room here in Southern Oregon.
And he's really known in the whole venomous community too. So
I try to be.
Really respected. You try to be. Look at this. Look at this beautiful setup. So let's just start with the cages. What are these?
Okay, so I don't know if you want to move the camera now, but on our right side here we have basically stacked 8-foot enclosures that are 8 feet long, 2 feet tall, and 2 feet wide. And then you see these enclosures back here. There's 6 of them, and they're all 4 by 2 by 2. And then the massive enclosures on this other side of the room, these are 10 feet long, 3 feet tall, and 3 feet deep, stacked on top of each other. And we got the king cobra in one, and the black throat monitor in the other one. So I'm not a big lizard guy, but there are a couple that I like, and the black throat is definitely one of them. So
that's an awesome.
Well, so I try to make these cages, appropriately sized. I don't want to have an 8-foot long king cobra in a 4-foot long cage. That's just ludicrous and ridiculous. So I try to make them appropriate. Where and when I can. So that's kind of the design behind that.
That's crazy. What other safety features do you have designed and incorporated into these cages?
You'll notice these ones back here all have the jeweler's locks on them. And the big cages, we use wedges, right? Because then there's not a lot of room for the actual jeweler's locks. So we use the wedges, which are freaking awesome. Many people use those. And then some of the hide boxes actually in these cages have hooks on the top of them. So where if I need to reach in and take the box out, I don't have to reach in with my hand, or I don't have to remove the snake. I can just reach in with a hook, grab it like that, and just pull it completely out.
So smart. That blew my mind when I first saw it. That was one of the best tricks and tips I've ever learned from somebody that I haven't learned yet.
Well, the idea is to keep the bitey end of the snake as far away from my hand as possible, because one thing we definitely want here is safety, and getting bitten by one of these snakes is simply not an option. So that's why we try to keep that in mind at all times.
That's crazy. Okay, let's highlight this cage over here. I'm going to take the camera down so all you beautiful people can see. But let's go over this cage right here. What is this exhibit?
Okay, so here's the controversy, right? And I'd like to note, I am not the first person to do this. I'm not the second or the third person to do this. I saw a picture online a couple years back, and it had a green mamba in a cage with a gaboon viper. And I'm like, what? I had no idea you could do this, right? So one place that I had already been in contact with, asking questions about Western green mambas was Clyde's Reptile Land in Pennsylvania. And apparently they had had a green mamba right there and a Western gaboon viper right here in the same cage for over a decade. So I talked to the curator and she's like, yeah, we've been doing this. We just, we got to be careful when it comes to feeding. Then I thought, hey, that gives me room for another snake cage if I put 2 snakes in the same cage. So these guys have been in the same cage for about a year and a half or so. And they're great. The gaboon sticks to himself or herself. And for the most part, the green mama's up in the bushes, but in the morning we'll come out and turn the lights on in the morning, and they're snuggling up and spooning each other.
It's crazy. They're almost touching right now. It's
Yeah. So there you have Dendroaspis angusticeps, the eastern green mamba, with the West African gaboon viper.
That's amazing.
And she is a big one too. She's not a super titan, but she is a 5-foot behemoth. So
massive.
And I should say that almost all the snakes that I have here, with the exception of one, are captive born and bred, right? So, and the only one that is not is the forest cobra down here, which was it was imported when it was just a little guy. So it's been in captivity now for almost its entire life, and she's over 7 feet. She's about 7.5 feet. South African forest cobra, Naya melanoliaca.
We're gonna get her out at the end of the show.
Yeah, for sure. She is, she's big, she's long, but you don't realize how heavy she weighs, right? She has weight to her, and the king cobra is longer than she is by about a foot, but the king cobra is like half the weight just because it's not an old king cobra. So
and the forest cobra is actually the largest species of cobra.
Yeah, the largest true species. A lot of people don't know that. They think, oh, it's a cobra, so the king cobra must be the longest cobra in the world. Well, king cobra is not a real cobra. It's an ophiophage, which basically means in Latin is snake eater. Just like a coral cobra, a Spitaleps lubricus, is not a true cobra.
Can we see that? Do you have one of those?
I do. I have one over there. We'll have to open the cage.
All right, let's do it. That's gonna be our first specimen we see.
And this is a beautiful one as well. This was produced, I believe, by Rick Tozer in Texas.
Nice.
So this is the red phase ones. We just gotta move a few rocks here because
All right, let's get this little.
This was a good idea. And now she spends all her time inside the rocks, and I'm just like, oh,
of course she does.
Right, which is what she would do in the wild as well. So no big deal. Oh, I see her. Here we go. Right where she's supposed to be.
Perfect.
With a full belly. Hey, you want to come on out? She's feisty too, right? There she is. She does. Yeah, this is venomous. This is the same venom as a cobra. It's just not a true cobra. And sometimes she hooks well, and other times she doesn't. So let's see if she cooperates a little bit here. There we go. So. And you try not to tail these little ones because she can fling around and get you on the finger in half a second because of how small she is. But you notice the beautiful red coloration. People call it the freaking pumpkin snake, Halloween snake.
So this is not a real cobra.
Not a true cobra, but you see right there why they call it a cobra, because it stands its head up and it can hiss a little bit, but there's lots of snakes that can do that, including a black mamba, and obviously a black mamba is not a cobra. So
honestly, I gotta say it looks like a little hog nose almost.
Right? And she's just so cool. God, when we first got her, I could only feed her like day-old pinky mice. Really? And she could barely put those down. Oh I was worried I was gonna have to like cut little mice into pieces and stuff, as gross as that sounds. But she put down day-olds, and now she puts down, large pinky mice. And yeah. Pretty cool right there, huh?
That's amazing. Do they get any bigger than that?
Yeah, they'll get a little bit bigger than this, but this is a very, very small species of elapid. So they're not, giant, and they're in the wild. They're almost completely nocturnal. So you're only going to find these for the most part at night, crossing the road or crawling through the desert in Africa.
So everybody that doesn't know elapids, what family is that and what snakes belong to the elapidae?
So the family being elapidae, this is going to be all your your kraits and mambas and cobras and a lot of your deadly Australian snakes like king browns and taipans and whatnot, and all your venomous sea snakes are all elapidae, and they all have the neurotoxic venom, you know, which is not as damaging as, like, say, the gaboon, for example, but it attacks your nervous system, and ultimately it'll paralyze your diaphragm, and you basically suffocate, you know.
Yep. You get
So
the brain won't send signals to your
yeah,
lungs.
things stop working because they don't have signal from your brain to do. But yeah, there we go.
That's great.
So we'll go ahead and put this one back.
I'm so excited. I love how venoms work. It's insane. There's so many different kinds of venoms.
Oh yeah, I mean, all the cytotoxins and different things like that. Yeah, there's
And then the Gaboon Viper over here, we'll get out soon, has like a cocktail of 5 different venoms. It's insane.
there. So, and as I put snakes in and out, I make sure to lock it, and then I go hang my keys up where they go.
Smart.
So it is worth noting, since we do live in Oregon, there are a list of snakes, venomous snakes in Oregon that you can have without a permit, and most of these fall under that. But I do have a permit from the Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife, and that covers the green mamba, it covers the albino monocled cobra, the western diamondback, and the coral cobra. So, and I have that hanging on the wall right over there. So I am 100% legal, just for an FYI.
Yep. And it depends on what counties you live in too. But I mean,
Oh, for sure.
there's
Yeah.
laws everywhere. It's
Montgomery County, you can't have any, even pythons over there that exceed a certain length. Yeah, so, but we're in Douglas County, we don't fall under any of that, and we're 100% legal. So I always promote keeping it real, keeping it legal, and doing the right thing on that.
Yes, especially this day and age. Okay, what's next? Can we do the rhinoceros viper?
Rhino viper.
Yeah.
Right. So this rhino viper was also bred by Rick Tozer. Right? If you don't know Rick Tozer, then in the venomous community, then you don't know anybody.
Right.
All right, come here, young lady. Well, actually, it's not a lady at all.
Yeah.
So this would be the only box that doesn't have the hook yet. But we just reach in here like that. And this guy, this guy is just a big giant freaking summer sausage is all he is.
Mm-hmm.
But we're still using the hook. He's not super heavy. But hopefully he'll be able to breed next year with the gaboon. That way we can have some gabinos. I've never had one before, but they're definitely amazing animals. So another African snake, the rhinoceros viper.
Oh my goodness! I don't know if the camera's picking up these colors.
Oh yeah, and this is not a fresh shed either, so he's not as beautiful as he could be. But yeah, when on a fresh shed, especially along the dorsal there, you got all sorts of greens and different colors there going on. So it's been a little bit since he shed, so we're not getting those beautiful colors today.
So beautiful. I don't know if you can see that.
And you see why they call it the rhino viper, right? Because those horns on the snout, which are, you know, just modified scales, but they look like horns, and as the snake gets bigger, so will they. Matter of fact, on big specimens, you'll see those horns, scales that are like an inch long, an inch and a half long. So
That's
there
insane.
you go.
How awesome.
But just supporting the main part of the body with the hook, and using my hand over here that's back and away from the mouth. So keeping the bitey end away from the hand at all times, or as much as we can. So there we go. Another African snake for you.
Goodness, that's so beautiful.
But it's cool that you can breed these to the gaboon, since they're two different species, but they're in the same family. All right, so their genetic material, you know, goes along with each other. But if you haven't seen a picture of a gabino, boy, Google that, because that is freaking amazing.
And what kind of venom do these guys have?
This is mostly a hemotoxic. There's a lot of different things in there, but long story short, it destroys tissue, coagulates blood, things of that nature, but it causes a tremendous amount of damage. So if you get bit by this thing, and let's say your finger or something like that, there's a good chance you're probably going to lose that. A very, very good chance. Same with the gaboon viper as well. So, but yeah, you know, what is it, about 3 feet long? And I mean, there's some weight there. You imagine the gaboon viper that's 5 feet long, and triple the thickness at least. So, but pretty calm snake. But you give it a mouse, and this thing is gonna blast that thing. And I do feed all my animals are all fed frozen thawed, so there's no live feedings that happen here. The rattlesnake that we'll talk about here in a little bit was on live feed because it refused to eat anything dead, but has since gone away from that, and now we are 100% frozen thawed.
Yay.
So, anyway,
It's good.
there you go. What do you see? There you go.
That's amazing.
Right on. All right, we'll just safely put this one back. put it over here. That way we can put his little house back in. And since he's on that side, let's do like that. That's the snake here.
Tools. Save your life. Pretty nice. You gotta know how to use them though. All right, what's next?
There we go. Let's put this key back here.
I love your key system.
Oh,
So brilliant.
I put all the keys in the locks just, to facilitate what we're doing, but I just keep them on a rack over there on a hook and they're all labeled. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
That's amazing.
All right, so we could check out the Indian Cobra, but I may not be able to hook this one too well because he's a little bit flighty. So we just kind of do that. This is your quintessential Cobra. If you've ever seen videos of snake charmers in India using their little snake charmers doing their little thing, even though cobras can't hear, so the music doesn't mean anything. This is the species of snake they use, Indian Cobra / spectacled cobra. And this was actually born and bred right here in Oregon. Right here in Oregon. So this is an Oregon native, as we like to say. And she shed this morning. I came in here and there was a shed, and so we'll be a little bit careful with her because she can be flighty. She's growing, but she loves hooding too. She is no stranger to hooding. All right. So, yeah, there we go. There we go. Let's get a little bit better hook on here. There we go. All right. Yeah, definitely got to be careful with this one because she can climb right up and get you.
Amazing. And when you work with cobras, you always have 2 snake hooks available in case they do climb up a hook. You can drop it.
Yep. So if it starts climbing up the hook, and like I said, this one's never been a good hooker. Yeah, hooker. But we just kind of
get that spectacle hood on there.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys can see the
branch to climb on.
Spectacle. There you go. There we go.
Look at it.
So this is Naya, the Indian Cobra. So they call it spectacled because on the back of the hood, it looks like it's wearing an upside down pair of spectacles, back in the old days where they called glasses spectacles. So a very, very venomous snake. And especially when they're small like this, they're a lot faster to react. So that's why it's even more important to keep that bitey end away from my hand. Woo! So there you go. Fresh shed. Beautiful light brown coloration. So this is the Sri Lankan locale. And what that means is it's got a lot more white speckling in the pattern. And sometimes the coloration will be a little bit darker brown. But this is still a pretty young snake. It's about 2 years old, give or take. Yeah, but it's got just a ton of white speckling in there.
Is this what bit Chandler?
What's that?
Is this what
yes, it is. This is the same species that bit Chandler.
That's crazy.
But we don't do free handling over here, so we just try to minimize anything like that from happening. And one way to minimize that is not to free handle.
Use your tools.
Use your tools, man. One bite from this snake could cost you your life.
Oh yeah.
And it cost Chandler a finger even without or with getting antivenom relatively quickly. So he's a little bit active, so we're gonna go ahead and put him right back up in his house.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Come on, get up there, bud. There you go. There you go. And there you go.
Beautiful.
Okay, we'll just leave him there right now.
Like,
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Flip over his little house. He's on the other side, so wherever he's walking.
I don't know if you guys saw the pattern on the back of that snake, but it was so beautiful. And if you could go research online and you didn't get a good look at it, you should go research online and go look at it. Crazy. Okay. I want to bring out one of my favorite stuff.
Oh yeah. Okay.
It's sweet.
Listen, so in the venomous community, we have a ball python as well, right? One of those snakes that everybody has, everybody buys, everybody breeds easily, right? It's called a monocled cobra, and we happen to have an albino one that was bred by Miguel Joliffe, right? So if you're watching Miguel, thank you. I've had this snake for 3 years now, a little over 3 years, something like that. And this is a permitted snake here in Oregon.
Yep, you need a permit for
that. Hey. So before we pull him out, let's talk about the excitement that happened with him. So if you haven't heard of the word parthenogenesis, right? It's a word that talks about how certain animals and reptiles can reproduce without the aid of genetic material from a male, right? It happens with king cobras, it happens with green anacondas and several other snakes. Well, it has happened with the monocled cobra, right? And it was crazy because I was on a live stream with TikTok a couple weeks ago, And we pulled the cobra out, put it in a bucket, and then I lifted up the hide, and there was a clutch of eggs in there, right? At first, I'm like, okay, well, they lay eggs sometimes and they just throw them away. Well, the difference in this one was the duds don't have shells, right? They're just slugs, duds, whatever you want to call them. There was actually a group of white shelled eggs in there, right? So, long story short, I had like 6 or 7 of them, and I put them in a tub up here, keeping the humidity up, keeping them at the right temperature. And we were losing a couple to they were getting moldy, right? But then one day I was like, you know what, these eggs are they're probably garbage, right? It's not been fertilized. I couldn't find anything on Google that talks about it. So I took the eggs out and I'm getting ready to throw them all away. And I decided to cut one open just to see what was inside of it. Inside the damn egg was a baby freaking monocled cobra that was about 3 inches long and as thick as a piece of spaghetti. And instantly I knew the mistake that I had made, right? Because everybody I talked to, oh, they're probably not viable, to include Miguel, Viper Keeper, aka Al Corrance, Viper Keeper, for those of you who know who he is, Rick Tozer. But yeah, they're viable. So I still have 3 eggs up here, and we're gonna see what happens. They may not be good, they may be good, who knows? But right now they're not moldy and they're alive, presumably, and so we're just gonna kind of see as we go and how that happens. So parthenogenesis and a monocled cobra. How cool.
That's insane. That's
All right.
crazy.
So here.
And you thought it was a boy. That's the craziest.
Oh yeah, I thought the snake was a male. I did. I totally did. I've never been a breeder. I've never bred snakes. It's just not one of the things that I was particularly interested in. And so I've never checked the sex because quite frankly, it just didn't matter to me because the snake was the snake. And this one is definitely a female.
Crazy to think about.
All right. Here we go. And she's probably 5 years old, give or take. All right, so keep this end over on the side. So here we go. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, there we go. And she generally hooks pretty well, but here's your albino Naya Cautia, the monocled cobra, right? Which is a very, very close relative of the Indian cobra.
She's heavy.
Yeah, she definitely got some weight to her. So, and she hooks up every now and then, like if I scare her or startle her, but generally she does not hood up, right? And that's just because she was born in captivity and she's been around human interaction on a daily basis her entire life. So there's your monocled cobra right there.
Oh my gosh.
Right? How cool is that?
That's so beautiful. And out of like venom wise, how do these rank in the cobra?
From my understanding, I mean, there's definitely can kill you for sure. There's no doubt about that. But they are on the lower end of the. Sorry, here.
Can I hold it?
Yeah, go ahead. So they're on the lower end of the neurotoxic venom, but still more than strong enough to kill an adult human being without question. So
another thing with cobras, they like to tail wrap around you, so you can't drop them even if you wanted to.
Yeah, and they'll take the end of that tail right here, which is kind of pointy, and they'll try to dig it into your arm to try to get you to let them go. The forest cobra is really good at doing that, and she's bigger and stronger, and you can actually feel it. It doesn't hurt, but you know what's being pushed into you.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I can't wait to get her out.
That's a beautiful snake right here.
Yes, look at her.
As a matter of fact, the very first cobra I ever had was a venomoid, and that was back when I was young, and I didn't even really understand what a venomoid was, what it does to snakes. So I don't really support that. But the first venomous paracobra that I ever had was an albino monocled and a normal phase monocled. So that's why monocled cobras hold a special place in my heart.
Crazy.
And this girl, she's in the 5-year-old range, and she's what? 5.5 feet long, give or take.
Something like that.
Yeah, so she's got some heavy body to her.
Girthy too. Look at this. She's girthy.
Cool. Yeah, I'll let you go ahead and let you put her back in.
Beautiful. Thank you, Aaron.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love sharing space with these animals. Go on, girl. No, wrong cage. There you go. Yeah. Those scales are so thick too.
So to tell you something, in Oregon, right, you have to have a permit for the monocled cobra, but you do not have to have a permit for the spectacled cobra. They're literally almost the same snake, right? So, who makes those rules and laws? I'm not quite sure on that.
Right? Isn't it insane?
Yeah, it's like I can have the world's longest venomous snake in Oregon with no permit, but I have to have a permit for something that really you shouldn't have to have a permit with. So
I can have my red spitting cobra without a permit, but I can't have my black and white one. Or a black and white one, I guess. I can have a red one, but not a black and white one. Crazy.
Yeah, right. Okay, let's do the rattlesnake. Really, the only cobra left is the king cobra, and we'll just kind of work our way around to that one.
Yeah, we're not going to bring him out. He's a little flighty, but we'll definitely get some video of him, and we'll open the cage and see if he'll show you a display.
Yeah, and we have the forest cobra too. But let's just finish this rack here. Now, everybody knows America's quintessential rattlesnake. They talk about it in all the Western movies. They talk about it in Western novels, right? It's the snake that you see most of the time in film, the Western diamondback Crotalus atrox. And that is another snake in the venomous community that is the equivalent of the ball python, as in it is easy to acquire, they're easy to breed, and they come out in every color of the rainbow and pattern just like ball pythons, except they're venomous, right? And the snake can definitely kill you. So we have an albino that's about 10 years old. My brother originally got when it was, I don't know, a week old. And I couldn't even tell you who bred it because that was over like a decade ago. But I have it now, and it's been here for about 1.5 years, and it is on the permit list. So when my brother had it, he didn't really interact with it with a whole lot. And it would, I mean, if he even felt the vibration of a door opening, he would rattle his freaking face off. Notice you don't hear him rattling. Nope. Right? He's not. Now, when I touch him, he probably will at that point. But if this was my brother, like in his interaction that he didn't really do a whole lot with, it would rattle just insane from the time it saw you until the time you left, and then 20 minutes afterwards. But as you can tell, it is not doing that. So we're going to go ahead and pull out this young lady. And it is a female because it dropped a dud egg, I don't know, about a month or so ago. Just one slug. It wasn't an egg. Obviously, rattlesnakes don't lay eggs, but when the rattlesnakes are gravid, the neonates inside are in a casing of some kind, right? Which is not a real egg, but it's kind of an egg. But when they're born, they slither out of it just kind of like jelly. So here we go. Crazy. And you should hear it rattle here any second. And if you don't, then you don't. Oh yeah, he's moving in a little bit. But yeah, she can reach out and touch you, so we got to be careful with that. Oh, there goes the rattle a little bit. Here we go.
I love my rattlesnakes.
Now this, here, we reposition the hook here. She's getting ready to go in shed probably pretty soon, but here is your albino Crotalus atrox. Now, this is not a giant specimen. We know Western diamondbacks get a lot bigger than this. Matter of fact, the biggest one I ever had when I was much younger was 5 feet, and the head was almost as big as my fist. And this is a much smaller individual, but a beautiful, beautiful individual nonetheless.
For mellow, too.
Yeah, right. And this is another permitted species that I do have a permit for here in Oregon.
But you don't need a permit for neotropical rattlesnakes.
Right? Which we also have. So a beautiful snake, and God, some of the colors that these guys are bred in are just amazing. But at the end of the day, it is a venomous animal, and this thing can ruin your day real quick if you don't give it the respect that it deserves. So don't free handle. Don't ever do that. And don't ever buy a venomous snake if you have no experience, okay? So another bad way to end up in a bad place.
Yep.
So let's show you the rattle. So you can even notice I'm holding the snake and it's not rattling except for a little bit there, but you can see all the rattle buttons there. Does not indicate the age of the snake. It just indicates how many times it sheds. And even that's only a little bit because these things break off all the time. But what has he got on there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So he's got 10 on there. Show you the rattle there. Boom.
So beautiful.
But a beautiful snake, and this snake will live with us for the rest of its life. As will all these snakes, right? I don't like to get rid of them. I like to get the ones I get, and then I keep them. So
amazing.
Anything to add to that one?
No, nice job on the behavior. Usually Westerns are they go.
Right, and it's 80 degrees in here. I'm already starting to sweat. So, I mean, this room is not cold at all. But a lot of people think in Oregon, we have diamondbacks in Oregon. We do not have diamondbacks in Oregon unless they're in a private collection like this one.
What do we have in Oregon?
We have Northern Pacifics, and we have the Great Basin rattlesnake, are the two species, Oregonus and Crotalus lutosus. So those are the two ones we have. We do not have Western diamondbacks in Oregon or within 1,000 miles of Oregon.
I do have a question. Can the Northern Pacific rattlesnake and the Great Basin, can they hybridize?
They absolutely can. They absolutely can. Up until a while ago, they were a subspecies of one another. So it was Crotalus oregonus, and then it was Crotalus oregonus lutosus for the Great Basin. But the last time I checked, they're just Crotalus oregonus and Crotalus lutosus.
Crazy.
So, but yeah, they are definitely interbreedable, just like a diamondback or like a eastern diamondback is with a timber rattlesnake. That's where you get your bat wings from. So, anyway, there we go. Awesome.
Beautiful.
All right. Gently, safely put this guy back.
And before we pull out the next snake, we're going to go ahead and pay those bills, and we're going to go ahead and roll some sponsor videos. I think we just have one today, but look at the rattlesnake go. It's such a beautiful sound. I love it. All right, we're back. All right, what is the next snake we're going to pull out?
All right, so we're going to pull out Crotalus culminatus, which is the neotropical rattlesnake, the Costa Rican rattlesnake, several different names. And the difference between the South American rattlesnakes in general, right, and the North American rattlesnakes is the venom toxicity, right? So most rattlesnakes are just a generic kind of hemotoxic venom, except for your Mojave green, the ones that live in the Mojave area, they have neurotoxic and hemotoxic, just like the Eastern Diamondback does as well. Well, South American rattlesnakes tend to have that with just about all of them, right? So it's kind of like a double punch. You're going to get effects from both types of venom. So this one was actually born and bred right here in Oregon as well. And this was a troublemaker. Well, not a troublemaker. It was, when it came to feeding, it was a troublemaker when I first got it, because it was a little guy, little baby, and it would not touch anything that wasn't alive. So once a week, I had to go up to the pet store and get a freaking mouse, and he'd see it and he'd eat it. But at about a year old, because I kept offering him frozen thawed, and at about a year old, he finally took a frozen thawed, and he's taken them ever since. So no more live feedings here. Not that I'm opposed to it. It's just if I have to go to the pet store and buy a mouse for $5.50 instead of going to Rodent Pro and getting them for about, I don't know, what's an adult mouse on Rodent Pro frozen is like 65 cents.
Yeah.
So the math is very clear. If I had to go to the pet store to feed all this, I'd be bankrupt like overnight. So we don't want to do that. But yeah, here we go. We'll go ahead and pull this one out. And this has actually turned into a really, really good snake. As soon as I mess with the door, you see that? Already biting because she thinks it's feeding time. Let's see if we can get her out of there.
Feed me. Okay. Let's stand it right
Back. Where'd the... Oh, there they are. Let's see. Probably have to use this to get that top rock off here. There we go. There we go.
Beautiful.
Yeah. She's growing too. She's not a giant yet. And from what I understand, these are probably like the top 3 longest when it comes to rattlesnakes. But what I'm really attracted to with these snakes, the coloration and the diamonds are incredible, but they have this stripe behind their head that goes down about the first 3 or 4 inches of their body. And to me, it's just really attractive. And it's just an overall beautiful, beautiful snake. And looking at the head of this rattlesnake compared to American rattlesnakes, it's to me, it's slightly different in the way it's shaped.
I
It's
always
gonna
think
have
of them as angrier because they have like
there you
more
go.
intrusive scales,
Yeah, there he got the descriptive
Uh-huh.
verb there. So there is Crotalus culminatus, the Costa Rican rattlesnake, aka neotropical rattlesnake. I think neotropical is just kind of a catch-all phrase for South American rattlesnakes.
And Central America.
No, true as well. So beautiful snake nonetheless, and this guy just eats like a freaking slob. And I'm glad he's no longer on the live kick.
He's really light in color. I have one of these, and they're really, the one I have is dark. This one's super light.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's definitely yours is, huh? Until you get towards the rear end, and then it starts getting dark down there. But just an absolutely beautiful animal.
And is there a difference between male and female on these?
Generally the tail length. But like I said, I've never check the sexes of these. So this one could be a male or female. I've never checked, but
So it looks like
overall, it's the length of the tail from the vent that you can generally look at. So a longer tail section is going to be a male, and a shorter one is going to be a female. But that's not always true. It's especially true in elapids, but with rattlesnakes, sometimes they could be the same length, and you just don't know for sure. But unless you're breeding, it doesn't really matter. Like to me, I don't need to know what this is because I'm never going to breed it. It's just going to be a long-term captive until the last day of its life, and I will try to take care of it the best that I can.
that's so.
But yeah, it's a fairly calm snake, though. You know,
Not rattling.
it's not rattling. Matter of fact, I think I've heard the snake rattle one time
Good job.
that I can remember. So, and it does fairly well on the hook. Where a lot of rattlesnakes, especially wild rattlesnakes like the ones we find here, they do not hook well at all.
I love our rattlesnake adventures.
But there we go. Crotalus culminatus, right there, folks.
Oh, beautiful.
There we go. Woo! Back in your little box there. And we'll fix your rock later.
Let's pick up this camera. I hope everybody's enjoying the episode. Let's see, we're 36 minutes in. Wow, time's flying. That's insane.
You can definitely tell it's heating up in here, man.
Oh, it is getting hot. It's really hot. I have sweat too. Okay, so let's talk about this guy right here.
Oh my God. Okay. This is my pride and joy, my absolute favorite snake of all time, Ophiophagus, the king cobra. And even if you don't do venomous, you know the word, you know the name king cobra. Everybody knows that king cobra is the longest venomous snake on the planet. Records of over 18 feet, 18 feet 6 inches, something like that. Could you imagine this snake right here that long? This guy right here is just under 8 feet, and he just turned 2 years old a couple weeks ago. So this is a cross, right? So this is a Malaysian Indonesian cross king cobra, and it was produced by Andy Maddox in South Texas, right? So another big name in the venomous breeding community, and a great guy. So I got this snake 5 days out of the egg. It had never even eaten, and I still have its very first shed, which is right over here. Check this out. This is the very first shed that snake ever made, right here, right? And then the second one and so on. And I didn't keep all of them, but I just thought it was kind of cool to see that. But a legit king cobra, and we're not going to bring him out because he's almost 8 feet long, but he will flail all over the place, and it's just not a safe thing to do. But he's right there up front for you to see. This is Dave, the king cobra. And once again, the enclosure that he's in, we just finished, I don't know, about a month and a half ago or so. It's 10 feet long, 3 feet long, or 3 feet tall, and 3 feet deep. So, and I tried to decorate it a little bit, throw some stuff in there. He's got his water in the corner. And he has a hide box that's all the way on the other end that has a sliding door on it. So if I need to get in there to do anything and he's in his box, which most of the time he is, I'll just slide that front door shut. That way he can't come out, and that way I'm safe. So what's up, Dave?
Amazing.
Dude, king cobras, man. I mean, it's argued that they're one of the most intelligent species of king cobra, and that's obviously perspective. What's an intelligent snake? But what I can tell you about this guy is he is always watching. If I'm in this room, on doing PlayStation or computer, doing whatever I'm doing, this guy is always watching as long as he's not asleep. All right, he's just seeing what I'm doing. What he's thinking in his little tiny brain, I have no idea, but he's always watching. The other snakes could care less what I'm doing, but as long as they get water and they get fed, they're good to go. But this guy is just freaking cool. In my opinion, the quintessential elapid. That's subject to opinion, of course, but my favorite snake, beyond a doubt. Absolutely. So, and just think, he just turned 2 years old and he's almost 8 feet. How long is he going to be next year? How long is it going to be next? July 1st is his birthday. So if you want to send him a present, go ahead and contact Show Me Reptiles, and they'll get you in contact with me.
Oh, yeah.
I wish we could bring him out, but we're just not going to. The forest cobra we're going to bring out, which is almost as big, but she is chill. Doesn't mean she can't bite, but she is chill. She's not going to flail all over the place and go crazy like this guy will. So
he's a quick boy. Before we get off him, how do you feed him? What's his diet?
Oh, very good question. So king cobras in the wild are snake eaters, right? That's what they eat. And this guy, I feed him on a rotational basis because I have gotten him to eat rodents fairly easily. He'll eat a mouse, no problem. But I don't want to have an entire diet of rodents because in the long term, they can develop, liver problems, get obese from it and stuff like that. So, and it'll shorten the lifespan of the snake. And I want to have the snake for as long as possible. So I'll give him snakes, which I get up our cruising road. I'll find road-killed gopher snakes, road-killed rattlesnakes, and king snakes. And most of the time when I find these, they've been ran over by cars and they're literally still moving. That's how fresh they are. And I'll bring them home and I'll put them in my freezer and I'll freeze them for probably 2 or 3 weeks just to kind of kill any internal parasites that may be present. And then so I'll feed him, and then every 10 days he gets fed. So 10 days later I'll feed him rodents, and then snake, rodent, snake, rodent. So, and always a good eater. He has never failed me when it comes to eating. In fact, he just ate a large roadkill rattlesnake 2 days ago. So yeah, and I was worried because the snake wasn't that long. It was about 3 feet long. It was a nice size, but the girth, he actually had a little bit of trouble getting past the hump, So, and I was watching, I was like, oh man, is he not going to be able to eat this thing? Just because it was pretty thick in the center. But he got past it, and the rest is history.
And it's crazy to imagine because they can eat a rattlesnake that doesn't even come from like part of their world. So like they can just digest the venom like nothing.
Yeah, so venom in and of itself is just a protein mixture. So it's different than from a poison, like our Western newts, right? The orange-bellied salamanders.
Okay.
They're poisonous, right? So if you eat them, you can get very sick and you actually die from them. Venom is just a protein that if you drank it, it would taste disgusting, right? But your stomach fluids would just digest it like any other thing, unless you had an open wound inside your stomach, like an ulcer or something like that, where venom could actually get into the bloodstream. That's where you'd be screwed. I'm not advising you to do it. Don't do that. I've never done it. I've seen videos of people doing it, but at the end of the day, venom is just a protein that your body can digest as long as it's not been injected into you.
Okay, so, now what if you have a spitting cobra? What if it spits venom in your eyes?
Oh, yeah, okay. First,
that turn into poison?
It definitely can. So, because your eyes can absorb that, but if you wash your eyes out really quick, you might feel some burning, but you're probably going to be okay. But if you let it linger in there and it gets absorbed, yeah, you can have a bad day too. But generally, just wash it out as fast as you possibly can. But if you have spitting cobras, you should be wearing a face mask anyway or glasses.
And if they spit, the venom can dry in a aerosol form.
Oh yeah, we've seen that happen.
Yeah.
Where it just like you sprayed it at the side of a glass, and now you have flaky kind of venom looking stuff, it's drying on the glass.
A lot of people that keep spitting cobras a long time, they usually become allergic.
Well,
if they spit a lot.
Yeah.
If you get wild spitting cobras, they're gonna spit a lot. But my red spitting cobra, he spit at me like twice.
Yeah. So in captivity, I mean, they'll get so used to you that they'll just stop spitting altogether unless you cause some sort of injury or hurt them, which you probably wouldn't do anyway. But yeah,
crazy to think about. Okay, let's do the forest cobra. Porter, we're gonna get you out of the room right now.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna get this big girl out.
You just go in the living room and hang out with
All right, everybody, this will be the last snake, and then we'll go ahead and wrap up the show. We're almost at 45 minutes. But
okay.
Thanks for tuning in. This is awesome.
So forest cobras, they've been divided into a lot of different groups. They used to be just all Naia melanoliaca, but now you have Naia subbulba and a few other ones. This is the longest true cobra in the world. So all true cobras are Naia, N-A-J-A, and this is the longest true cobra in the world, right? So this is Naia melanoliaca, and her, we call her forest grumpy, which is actually ironic because most forest cobras are just really hostile, especially coming out of the wild. They're constantly hooding, they're constantly gaping. I've never seen this cobra gape. And in the 3 years that I've had it, it's hooded like 3 or 4 times. And that was because I startled it and didn't know I was there. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, there you are. Oh, But it doesn't mean it can't bite you, because it definitely can. And this is it's not a monster, but this is a large forest cobra. So
she's pretty big.
It might be a little bit of a chore to get her out.
She's pretty big.
Yeah, did you guys see that? I got a little bit too close to the cage and the Gaboon Viper struck.
Oh, we need to get that one.
Yeah, we can definitely do that. All right, so
this is my favorite snake.
We're gonna go through the other side here.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, she just shed probably 4 or 5 days ago. So she is, and she ate several days ago, so that shouldn't be an issue. We just gotta kind of poke her gently to get her to come out of her little hide area right here. There she goes. There she goes. So there we go. We just gotta get her out. Come on.
Let's poke a cobra.
Yeah, right.
Wouldn't recommend it, but
I'm not poking. I'm more just nudging it with the body there. All right, come on, get out of there. All right, come on this side of me because she sees you. There we go. Come on.
Perfect.
There we go. Okay.
It's crazy how
So now
intelligent they are.
Now that she's over here, we'll slide this over. But oh no, oh no, no! She knows where she's safe at. So it can be tricky sometimes to get her out of the cage, but we will.
We will.
We will get her out. All right, young lady, I need you to come out.
And then for everyone that doesn't know, there are 5
All right, here
different
we go.
subspecies of forest cobra as well.
All right, so this is a very, very large snake, guys, as far as forest cobras are concerned. I'm just gonna try to lock herself. There we go. All right, coming out. So we gotta be careful. So this is a.
She's so beautiful.
Woo! All right, we just gotta be careful here. There you go. All right, so Naya melanoliaca, the forest cobra, one of them.
Can I see?
But yeah, she is definitely not the best hooder. All right, so we gotta be careful. There you go. Just
Of course.
there we go.
So you can see, this is one of the 5 subspecies of forest cobra. We'll kind of let her calm down for a second. She's starting to calm down. Look at this.
Yeah,
beautiful.
she's about 7.5 feet, give or take a few inches.
And I'm 6 feet, so yes, the snake is definitely longer.
And
These are the largest true species of cobras.
but notice how this snake is not biting. It's not trying to
Not
lunge or gape or anything. It's just trying to get away from him. Even in captivity, all the snake wants to do is get away.
Yeah.
But she's big and she's got some weight, so she's not the easiest snake to handle.
The most important thing is don't freak out and use your tools appropriately because they will save your life or they can help kill you.
There we go.
Look at this.
And you notice that the first third of the body on this one is a really nice light brown coloration, and then it gets significantly darker as you go back all the way to the end where it's just almost solid black. But this is the only snake that I have that's actually come out of the wild, and I think the snake was about 1.5 feet long when it was originally imported. I was not the original owner, but when I got her, she was about 3.5, 4 feet maybe. And here we are 3 years later, and she's just massive. Look how calm she is.
Massive.
Just how she's not gaping, she's not hooding, she's not doing any of the stereotypical forest cobra things.
And this looks like in Eastern. You said it was Southern?
It was imported as Naya melanoliaca, the South African forest cobra. But just look how calm the snake is.
Oh, beautiful.
Right, and she's capable of doing whatever she needs to do. And when it comes to venom toxicity, for cobras, she is on the higher end of that venom. So
you can see the big old venom gland.
oh yeah, she's got for what she is, she's got some big venom glands for sure. And you know, it wouldn't take a drop of that to cause a fatality. But
beautiful. And this is my favorite part of seeing a cobra is not hooded. It just looks like a normal snake.
yeah, all these snakes here, they see me every single day, multiple times a day. I'm in and out of here doing whatever I need to do. And so they just get used to you. It doesn't mean that they're your friend, right? Snakes are not your friend,
No.
at least venomous snakes anyway, right? You might have a friend for a ball python, but you know, the ball python's not going to bite you and cause you to lose your life like this snake absolutely will. So.
And it's rare, but they can give dry bites.
Yep, dry bites do happen. That's where they bite you, but they conserve their venom. But I'm not going to test that revolver theory there.
It's crazy. I've seen people free handle these like nothing. I'm like, that's insane.
And her enclosure is 8 feet long. That one right there on the bottom, it's 8 feet by 2 by 2. So the enclosure is longer than she is. So, and my general rule of thumb is an enclosure has got to be at least 75% the length of the snake itself is what I try to achieve for. So, and that all my snakes here fit that standard that I kind of set for myself. So, ready? Let's go ahead and put her back in there.
And this is why you always have 2 snake hooks for cobras.
Oh, and no, let's talk about that tail though. She's got that pointy tail that she will absolutely poke into you. It doesn't hurt, but in the wild, I would imagine if something grabbed her, you know, she could poke and have an animal let her go, especially if she was young. You know, like she was grabbed by some sort of a larger predator.
Amazing.
All right, there you go, girl. There you go.
Forest cobras are my my favorite cobras. And I had a large South African one for a while. She was amazing. I named her Windy after my mom. Mom loves snakes so much.
Whew. Dude, I'm sweating my freaking face off, man.
It is so hot. It is hot in here. Okay, before we end things, can we show the West African Kaboom Viper? Okay.
Yeah, you want to pull it out?
Yeah.
Okay, so
With this green mamba right here.
We do have a little bit of an issue. So when they're together, I don't really like to mess with them when they're sitting side by side, and I'll never feed them when they're right by each other, because what I don't want is the gaboon to, reach out and try to bite a prey item and then accidentally bite the mamba. But you'll see right there, they're chilling.
And those are the fastest snakes in the world, correct?
Not the mambas. Yeah, well, the black mamba, the fastest land snake in the world for sure. But
and these would be the fastest strike.
Like second. I think the fastest is actually the death adder. Yeah,
but they're an adder. These are an adder too.
Well, I mean, it's a more of a viper, but I mean, because you got to think, death adder is actually an elapid, right? The death adder is not a viper. It is an elapid. It has fixed front fangs and it has neurotoxic venom.
Look at this.
It looks like a viper, like a viperidae, right? But it is not. So, but yeah, there you go. She's stretched out, nice and beautiful.
Are you able to get her?
Yeah, she's moving over now, so she's out of the way.
And this is such an iconic species, largest fangs of any snake, highest venom yield. And there's different kinds of Gaboon vipers. This is the West African. There's also East African Gaboon vipers, which we're going to get later in the year as well.
Yeah, we just have this beautiful Western here. Oh, close that while the mama's still in there.
Here, I'll watch her if you want to do that. I got her.
Yeah, there you go. Definitely don't want to leave a cage open with a mamba in it.
Yep. Nice, doing those protocols, making sure everything's closed.
All right.
Perfect.
So this snake's head is almost the size of my fist.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's how massive this snake is. Once again, this is not a Titan. I've seen bigger, but this is a very, very respectable sized Gaboon viper.
Massive.
Look at this. Imagine if you're walking through a rainforest in Central Africa, right? Or just a forest in general, and you're a local tribesman or something like that, and you're just walking, and all of a sudden you feel fangs penetrate you because you didn't see this amazingly camouflaged snake sitting in a pile of leaf litter, and all of a sudden now you have the world's longest fangs of any venomous snake penetrating your foot, your leg, your whatever. You're going to be in a big world of hurt because you never saw this snake because the camouflage is so perfectly adapted to their environment.
The keeled scales on these things are amazing.
Yeah. But a very amazing animal. Once again, this is another ball python of the venomous community. They don't come in a whole lot of colors. They just recently came out with the albinos, but they're easy to reproduce. And when these guys have babies, they can have 30 or 40 babies at a time. So imagine if you breed this thing, having that many babies, now you got to figure out what the heck you're going to do with them. So unless you know where they're going, don't breed the snake just to have more stuff flooding the market for no particular reason. Oh yeah, for sure. So I'm sure the viewers are hearing that hiss, that loud hiss coming out.
I don't know if you guys can see, but where my hand is on our scales, they are very keeled scales, like almost to the point if you rub the wrong way, they touch you. And they're very, very aggressive keeled scales. Like they just live in the African rainforest and have to endure so much stuff.
And even though this snake was born in captivity, this snake is not afraid to bite. As you've seen a little while ago when she struck the glass, this snake is not afraid to bite. So,
and these things can strike any direction at any given second.
What would you think? This snake, this is 5.5 feet?
I'd probably say right at 5 feet.
Yeah, somewhere around there. So she's thick and she is an awesome, awesome snake. And so a key thing with this snake, right, is we're not feeding this snake every day or every 10 days, right? In the wild, this snake is eaten 2 or 3 times in a year. So what I do is I feed this snake about every 40 days, right? Because if you feed it every 10 days, like the cobras and stuff like that, which are very active snakes, this snake's just going to get obese. It's going to start having problems, and it's just going to shorten the lifespan. So,
yep.
Once every 40 days or so.
You go to the bathroom a few times a year.
Oh, dude, it just did the other day. I mean, it's been 4 or 5 months since the last time I went, and yeah. So when this snake finally decides to use the restroom after 4 or 5 months, dude, I'm swimming my butt off.
It's so hot.
Yeah, it's pretty gross. So when that happens,
if your reptile room's hot, you're doing all right.
Yeah, right. So I keep it's about 80 degrees, 82 degrees, 24 hours a day. So I'll turn the heat off. Well, I'll turn the lights off because in the summertime I don't even have to have a heater on in here. But and it'll drop down to like 77 at night. But during the wintertime, it's 80 degrees, 82 degrees, 24 hours a day.
So beautiful.
So, and there's only one heat lamp in this entire room, and that's for the black throat monitor, which, by the way, you're probably wondering why I haven't shown you the black throat monitor, who lives right there, right? So the black throat monitor has feet, he has claws, and he figured out the other day, all he's got to do is put his claw between the glass and the wood, and he slid the cage door open. So currently, the black throat monitor, which is probably 10 pounds, is behind this enclosure at this very moment. And unless I want to dismantle this enclosure, I just have to wait for him to come out on his own, which he will. He's going to get hungry at some point, and then he's going to be like, or thirsty, and he'll come out. So he's an awesome lizard, by the way, but he just wedged himself back there, and we're just going to wait for him to do his own thing. But yeah, here you go, the West African Gaboon Viper.
And if an accident does happen, we do have anti-venom for this guy off-site.
Off-site
at a
with
different facility.
About 2 hours away.
Yes.
So, but yeah, not a snake you want to get bit by, because whatever this snake bites, especially at this size, if you don't lose it, you're probably going to wish you lost it after you get done healing, with all the deformities and tissue and muscle damage and necrosis, rotting of the flesh, and things like that happen with this animal.
So crazy.
I don't know. If I had to pick, do I want to get bit by the monocled cobra, or do I want to get bit by this guy?
Monocled cobra.
I'm going to pick the monocled cobra, because likely with the monocled cobra, I'm probably not going to lose a finger. I mean, it can happen, obviously, but with this guy, he's just going to cause so much more damage. But with the elapid, the cobra, I definitely have to get antivenom a little bit quicker, because I want to keep breathing.
And I have my own Gaboon Vipers. I'll take slow motion video of these guys. And even in the slow motion video, it's so fast. They'll hit, like, if you're just watching it with your plain eye, you'll just see them hit the target, like
It's incredible. It's like,
and then you watch the slow motion, they tag it like 2, 3, 4 times sometimes, that adjusts in mid-air.
Yeah.
And you can't even see it with your naked eye because it's so fast.
So the plan with this one, I got this from a buddy up in Portland area who decided to move to a different county where they weren't legal. So I bought it from him. And I tried introducing the Rhino Viper this year, because they're supposed to be sexually mature at about 30 inches, and the Rhino Viper is right there. Nothing happened, so I'm going to try again next year, and hopefully we're going to get some gabinos out of it. Mm-hmm. That's the plan. And if I'm successful at breeding, it's going to be a one-time deal. I'm not going to breed over and over and over, because, like I said earlier, I don't want to have 20 or 30 or even 40 little baby Gaboon gabinos.
I do.
And just all over the place. Now what the heck do I do with them? So but so yeah, if I'm successful, it's just going to be a one-time thing, unless everybody buys them, people that are qualified to buy them, not, just some young Joe Schmo high school kid.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, man. Good stuff. You want to put it back?
Yeah.
All right. So we have the green mamas on the far side of the cage. So
you guys hear that in the camera? That's a growling right there. You hear that? So king cobras have a modified trachea. They can growl. These guys hiss. So I don't know if you just heard that hiss, but it was insane.
Oh yeah, the king cobra, he's got an actual growl. That's crazy, especially once they start getting bigger.
Oh yeah,
that growl is incredible. So I'm gonna open this side.
Okay,
Mark. Yep, because the mom was all the way down at the other end. Okay. As soon as I slide this glass open, and all right, there you go.
Go ahead. Don't come out though. Go. Yes, I don't know if you guys can see this, but look at this tail and the keeled scales right here. Insane.
There goes the hook.
Crazy.
Cool.
Look at this. Look at these patterns. You see like the little bow tie pastas? So they're going to be right here. Look at that.
Beautiful.
Uh-huh.
I love how this kind of gives that, when it's fresh shed, she gives this kind of purpley coloration right there.
And these things will come, depending on what region they come from, they'll be different colors. They'll be
sure.
They'll be more colorful if they're like in the middle of the jungle, right?
The Eastern Gaboon Vipers tend to be a little bit darker and not as pretty in coloration as the West Africans.
Okay, how do we lock this cage? Okay. And then we got all of our cages locked, and I think we actually went over everything, people, and it's exactly 1 hour. Do you have your bush vipers you want to show off?
You know what? Yeah, if we want to go into the living room, those are the only snakes that I don't have in the reptile room are the bush vipers, and when you see why, you'll understand.
Okay, and then we'll kind of talk a little bit too while we're walking over there. But as I said in the beginning of the podcast, we are switching to creature features, and it's no longer the Reptile Shed Net or Reptile Shed podcast. So, but it's still on the Show Me Network, and we're gonna go over here and look at these bush vipers.
Okay,
go. Okay.
So the bush vipers, right?
Look at these things.
They're in a live bioactive enclosure, right? And I thought it'd be really cool because I have this big dining room window that overlooks the backyard. And I put the cage here, that way light can come through. and I can see light as I look outwards. And I just thought it was kind of a cool thing. But you'll notice the cage is locked down here, right? So easy enough. And we have a pair, a male and female West African, or West African bush viper in here. And before I go shoving my hands in there, I always identify the location.
Scary.
So I see one, the male is right up there.
There's one next to it.
And you know what? What's that?
There's one right there, a yellow one right next to it.
Am I blind? What in the world? Where do you see the yellow one? Oh, I see him. Dude, it's crazy. I mean, this cage is only 36 inches tall and a foot and a half wide. And I can literally look in there and I'm like, I don't see what these damn snakes are. So he's pointing off the female, which is right here.
Is here?
Right? And she's kind of a golden yellow. She's got, now that she's getting a little bit older, she's got some red coming in. And then the male is right up behind her, right there. And they're not that old, right? They're not even breeding age yet, because I read that the female's got to be about 4 years old. I caught them locked up in January. As a matter of fact, I wrote it right here, January 3rd. Nice. I caught them locked up. Nothing happened, but they were born on the same date. I think 2 different clutches, so they shouldn't be a brother and sister. But they were locked up.
That's so scary. What if you find little? Okay, so they give live birth. Could you imagine?
Yeah, right.
Finding little, but you don't even know how many were in there.
And these guys, when they're born, they're little tiny things, right? So I was just like the coral cobra. I was feeding these guys like day-old pinky mice, and they were having trouble getting it down. All right, but they're good now. They can actually eat pinky rats now, which is basically the size of a medium mouse, something like that. But yeah, these guys live in here. All the plants are alive. I mist it with water, about a gallon of water at a time. I'll mist it probably once or twice a week, and keep all the plants alive, and I'll trim it as I need to. That way it doesn't get flooded with vegetation things like that.
Everything you're about. And General, do you want to come on and say anything about future shows coming up? Because that would be wonderful. And I know we have Kluber Fest coming up and a lot of other stuff coming up. So,
hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey.
Man, what an awesome show, Aaron. Amazing, exceptional animals, dude. I was just backstage like, I loved it.
Thanks for coming, man.
I loved it.
I'm happy. I do the YouTube thing too, but I'm not trying to. I don't try to be money or nothing like that. I just try to share my hobby with people who want to watch, and that's what I do. And people ask me, why do you have these venomous snakes? You can't touch them, and I say, well, why do you have a fish tank with fish in it? You can't touch the fish.
It's the beauty of animals, man. And that's the thing. And one thing you guys really projected in today's show, safety first. And when you follow those types of guidelines and ordinance, if you will, you can pretty much keep whatever you want to within your state regulations or whatever, permitted animals. I love that. One thing that I took away from what you said as well, Aaron, is I absolutely loved how you were talking about how you multi-purposed animals, that were hit by vehicles or whatever. And, I really, really like that. It gave, for whatever it's worth, it gave one more solid reason and maybe why that happened. Instead of just another animal or whatever hit by a car. I loved that.
I prefer not to see them hit by cars at all, but we cruise the snake cruiser roads 2 or 3 times a week, and whenever we see road kills, I grab them up and put them in the freezer, and they become king cobra food.
Well, it is what it is, and it's what they eat, and you found a way of, like I said, repurposing something that most people don't see a purpose for. So I love that. Mark, I will go ahead and pull up a couple little things that Show Me has going on. There's some really exciting stuff that's coming up. So we do have this here 2-day banger coming up in Pensacola. That's going to be August 2nd and 3rd. So you are able to go ahead and get your VIP passes, guys. General admission is 10 to 3:30. VIP gets you in at 9 o'clock, early both days, and you save on the money for the tickets. So that's definitely something cool. Come down to Florida, man. It's just a cool destination spot above anything else. We've also got here the Bloomington Reptile Show. That's coming up August 9th. Now, that's a one-day show. It is Saturday. Same thing, guys. VIP 9, general admission 10 to 3:30. I have personally been out to this show. The Bloomington show is definitely a banger, so not one to sleep on. And Mark, I'm not even sure if you had heard about this yet. I'm sure you have. I'm sure you've seen it or whatever, but they have the Show Me Float trip that's coming. Yeah, this is going to be Sunday, August 10th. Everybody will be corralling up at, I would say I would show up personally around 9:30, but the float will start around 10 a.m. That's at Adventure Outdoors in Steelville, Missouri. Some of the people, the staff and things like that, they're going to be actually camping at the grounds themselves. So you do have that option to come out. It's not anything where you're going to actually have to go like directly through Show Me or contact me or Mark or anything like that. You contact Adventure Outdoor. You tell them the time and date. You can let them know that you're coming with the Show Me float, and they'll add your boats and all the appropriate stuff from there. So that's really exciting stuff, dude. I'm upset because I'm not going to be able to make this first float. I don't know. I'm going to see it. You never know. I might have to just try to figure some stuff out because it is in Missouri. It's not super close, but it is in the Show Me state.
That's awesome.
So,
I need to make it.
That's all I've got for you guys. Thanks for letting me come out, kind of shamelessly plug some of the cool stuff we're doing. For anybody out there, man, definitely like, share, subscribe, and ring that bell. The General and Mark, we got a lot of really cool stuff coming up around the corner, so don't sleep on it. You got anything else, Mark, before we hit your outro?
Aaron, where can we find you?
Hey, man, Aaron Christensen on YouTube. Look for the big bearded guy with glasses, and I appreciate any subs you guys want to see.
Hell
That's
yeah.
right, guys. Hey, thanks a lot. Don't sleep on Mark's creature features either, guys. This show's about to bang.
No, remember, Fridays at 5 Pacific Standard Time.
Peace.
Peace.
We're out.
What's Colubrid Fest?
Right?
You understand now?
Be self, Pharrell. I'll see you there.